welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, 13th August 2018. I'm Investor Bowens with the details. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines considers crime and violence a serious issue and continues to invest in the police force. This statement from Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves at a news conference today, in which he responded to charges by the leader of the New Democratic Party that the ULP administration had not made any discernible acceptable response to a runaway crime situation in the country. The accusations were made at an NDP news conference on July 31st and reinforced in a release issued today, in which the party accused the government of not doing enough to equip the police to do an effective job. Prime Minister Gonsalves, responding, identified a number of things which are being done with respect to the police.
There are over 150 applicants who have qualifications of 7 CXC subjects or more and associate degrees applying to join the police force. You hear that? There are more than 150 who have applied, you know. But I'm saying 7 subjects or more, including associate degrees. That's the quality of the persons they have to interview and to check them out with all the various things, the background, and naturally they have to do the health checks and all the rest of it.
The Prime Minister said the investments by the state in crime fighting can also be seen in the training to which the police is exposed and their remuneration packages.
The training of the police is beyond whatever it was before. Never you have seen the extent of the training that you have now. The entry salary for a police officer is about $1,800. Isn't that the number, Edmund, a month? When we arrived here, it was $800. The entry salary for a police officer is no more than a senior clerk, and you have 10 years from junior to senior clerk, and you have to pass an exam. What is Friday talking about?
Dr. Gonsalves said the government also improved the legislative framework and considered Dr. Friday's comments to be devoid of solutions.
Fighting crime is technology, it's personnel, it's facilities, it's the legal framework. We have set up the prosecution, the National Prosecution Service. I mean, this is the man who wants my job. The government has never done anything to show that they're tough on crimes. And in all his long rigmarole, he says nothing what he will do different and better.
The Ministry of Education has high expectations of minibus operators and conductors following a one-day training workshop on Sunday, which focused on the welfare of student passengers. The workshop, which was a follow-up from a similar engagement last year, was aimed at creating a child-friendly environment and address such matters as positive behavior management and responsible bus operations. We get more in this report from Larissa Pugsley-Kidd.
Organized by the Ministry of Education in association with the bus operators and with the support of the police, the workshop proceeded despite a disappointing turnout of minibus operators. Presenters from the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Transport and the Police Traffic Department took the opportunity to share information with the operators about their role and responsibility as service providers. and with a significant percentage of the traveling public being students, positive and acceptable behaviors that can effect change was deemed necessary. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Senator Deborah Charles, told the bus operators that loud and vulgar music is not acceptable and reminded operators that there have been many complaints about this problem.
What happens on the minibuses while these children are being transported is of a concern to us in the ministry and the government by extension. We have seen a number of incidences where students have not been treated properly at the hands of minibus operators. I'm not saying that all minivan operators do not understand their roles, because I'm thinking that each of us have a responsibility to the children.
The Deputy Chief Education Officer for Child-Friendly Schools, Elizabeth Walker, challenged the minibus drivers to abide by the laws and stand up for what is right. She urged them to think of the damaging effects which careless and reckless driving can have on the nation's youths.
At the end of the day, the environment that is provided for students would be, as one of the goals of the child-friendly school, we will create a positive, safe and healthy environment for our students, which then in turn would impact quality. Students would perform better at school, and the outcome in general for St. Vincent and the Grenadines would be better.
Drivers were encouraged to make reports to the parents, teachers and principals if children are behaving unruly. In addition, suggestions were made for the bus operators to have stickers in their buses that outline rules indicating what is acceptable and unacceptable conduct. Corporal McLeon Williams of the Traffic Department, who was one of the presenters, said there are many problems from the drivers as well as students.
And it always has to do with incidents relating to drivers of omnibus, students on board these buses and their erratic or chaotic behavior, and the way how our drivers and our conductors are in support of it. And today I look at it as the first day of change.
Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Larissa Pugsley-Kidd.
SVG-TV News caught up with some of the minibus drivers and conductors present for the training, who told SVG-TV News how they felt about the training.
Well, I find it should be more frequent, you know. It should be a meeting at least every month. I mean, younger people coming into the business, I mean, it should be something that everybody have to go through, doing this kind of work. You should be able to go, and it's like you're supposed to be provided with a certificate. That is how I see it in doing this kind of business, because it's people life you're dealing with.
I'm here and I'm learning a lot of things I never expected. And what I could say, the turnout should have been much better, especially for conductors, because I'm here and realizing I'm basically the only conductor here. Well, what I've learned so far, we conductors, we break a lot of rules and we put our drivers in a lot of pressure lately. I could talk from experience, because I made a lot of drivers get a lot of tickets unnecessarily.
It's something worthwhile coming to and everything, and right now, from the little sessions that we had so far, it's been quite entertaining, educating and everything like that so far. The officer was speaking. He mentioned a little things about the laws that we could go and get a copy by the Frenchy. I've been trying to get that for the longest while now, but since he mentioned it now, I could go and get it.
Responding to the concerns of the bus operators, Corporal McLeon Williams said bus drivers rarely make reports to the police and this should change. He said that reckless driving and negative behavior is not part of the Vincentian culture, but rather a poor habit developed over time.
Realizes that you have to cater for road safety, and road safety means that all the elements putting in, but as it regards to overloading, overcrowding and all of that, you know, even the overtaking the long line of traffic just to satisfy our youngsters, you know, and that is an offense by itself. I wouldn't say it's a culture, it's a habit. It is an offense. They are aware of the offenses that they commit from time to time. What we do need is more sessions like this, you know, to try and sensitize them, to get them along the right path.
The police force is doing its utmost to ensure that road users adhere to the laws relating to their vehicle license and insurance. That's the word from Inspector Henry Providence as he spoke with SVG-TV News on Friday regarding measures being taken by the police to ensure compliance with the laws and maintenance of order on the roads of SVG. Inspector Providence said the police conducted stop-and searches last week, which led to the seizure of vehicles and issuing of tickets to drivers who were found to have violated the law.
Saying that it is not a case where if other operators of vehicles, other motorists are out there committing offenses, that we're not going to deal with them. But as I said, we were specifically targeting the minibus operators because of what took place recently and what is happening. This morning, several persons were ticketed, several omnibus operators were ticketed. I think there were 2 cases where persons, omnibus, were brought into the central police station because they were not insured. And in addition to that, there was also other privately owned vehicles that were brought into the central station this morning as well because they were not insured and licensed. So it is not a situation, as I indicated a while ago, that we are just targeting the omnibus operators. We want to spread a message right across the board that driving your vehicle without a license, driving your vehicle without insurance is a very dangerous practice, and it will not be tolerated.
Inspector Providence encouraged drivers and specifically those who operate omnibuses to ensure that their vehicle insurance is up to date so as to avoid unnecessary financial burdens.
Yes, persons who generally, omnibus operators who did not generally pay their drivers their insurances, and persons must understand the seriousness of you driving an omnibus with 18 passengers or more in some cases, and then you're not paying your insurance for that bus. And let's say that, for instance, that bus has to be involved in an accident. We know the seriousness of you not insuring your bus, what can come out of that. Persons are injured and seeking compensation, and the bus is not insured. It means therefore that individual, that omnibus operator or the driver of that omnibus may have to dig into his pocket to try and compensate those persons who are injured, and that could be a very, very difficult uphill task.
The veteran traffic cop outlined the penalties one can incur if caught driving without insurance.
So if you're driving the vehicle without insurance, and not just the minibus operators, but any vehicle whatsoever, whether it's a bike, a privately owned vehicle, once you are met driving without insurance and you're convicted in the court of law, in the magistrate court in this case, you can be charged up to $750 in the court of law. You can also be disqualified as well for a period of 12 months. As a matter of fact, the law states that once you are convicted of an offense of this nature, that automatically your license must be suspended for a period of 12 months. There are some cases where the court might use its discretion and do not disqualify you, but in most cases, once you're convicted of using a vehicle without insurance, you will lose your license for a period of 12 months.
HIV/AIDS advocate Winfield Tannis has been re-elected to chair the Caribbean Region Network Plus. His election came at an interfaith forum held last Thursday and Friday in Guyana that was organized by the Pan-Caribbean Partnership on HIV/AIDS, PANCAP. Tannis, who represented SVG at the conference, said there is now a better understanding of what needs to be done to help people living with HIV and AIDS in SVG.
The organization can be better structured and prepare them for grant writing where they can get grants, funding, and so forth. Global Fund and all the funding agencies are saying because funding is pulling away from the Caribbean. By 2020, we may not have access to funding at all.
Tannis said he thinks more has to be done with local partners in the health sector if they are to meet the targets set by UNAIDS. To this end, Mr. Tannis said he will be working with the National AIDS Secretariat to help improve on the services for people living with HIV and AIDS.
And there's a lot of programs, and especially in terms of with Azonia, and we have recently helped to put together CARE SVG. That is the organization that looks after persons living with HIV and AIDS, where they can give them care support and psychosocial support. These people here living with HIV and AIDS, for us to build their capacity, for us to empower them, there must be an organization of the same kind.
This country's target date to end HIV and AIDS is 2030. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has said the government is continuing efforts to improve the Arrowroot industry. Speaking at a news conference today, Dr. Gonsalves said despite the challenges faced, the Arrowroot industry made some progress over the years with an increase in the acreage of the crop. He said while much is done to improve the industry, manpower still remains an issue which needs to be addressed.
Consultation. The fact of the matter is this: there are more acres of Arrowroot being grown today than were grown in 2001 when we took office. The price is several times more than what it was then. We have just negotiated with the Indian government and they have agreed to provide us with over $1 million US for a new factory operation. Doesn't mean that all these things which we are talking about in agriculture, in fisheries, in every other area of life, that you don't have challenges, you know. The challenges in Arrowroot, for instance, the digging of Arrowroot is a challenge. To get people to dig it. I'm not talking dig it in the way in which you slang it. That do you dig Arrowroot? Of course we all dig Arrowroot, but I mean, I'm talking physically digging it, reaping it.
The Prime Minister said competition is also another challenge which the industry is facing, and the government is working with Windfresh to try and secure markets for the produce.
There's the matter of the price which you can get, the competition from other starches and the like. It's not a... I mean, we had just paid about $1.2, $1.3 million for farmers and workers and so on. Now, we have a memorandum of understanding with Windfresh to buy 51% of the industry. We have 49% reconfiguring it for a new period, a new development. Is one thing to go and talk to people and you have a lot of, well, I didn't get my money on time. Okay, you didn't get your money on time, but you got it.
At a recent public meeting in Ovia to get feedback from persons in the industry, the opposition criticized the government for its handling of the Arrowroot industry. Youth in SVG are being encouraged to seize all opportunities available to uplift themselves and their families. This encouragement comes from Haslan Ann Jacobs, the proprietor of Green Peaks Publishing, as she spoke with SVG-TV about some of her life's challenges and how she was able to overcome them. Jacobs explained that she became pregnant at age 16 and dropped out of secondary school. That was some 22 years ago. Depressed at first, Jacobs said she nevertheless worked hard over the years to become qualified and obtain skills to create a livelihood for herself and her family.
To encourage young people, I want to be a role model for the nation's youths of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I was attached at the government printry where I acquired some skills in bookbinding and repairs, and I ventured out on my own, doing my own business. We are registered as Jacobs Production Company, and we are the manufacturer of stationery branded under the name Green Peaks Books and Publishing. We manufacture notebooks, educational exercise books, sketch pads, scrub pads. We bind and repair books as well.
Jacobs also took the opportunity to share a word of encouragement, specifically to young mothers who believe they cannot make headway in life.
This opportunity to tell young teenage mothers who had become pregnant at a young age and may have dropped out of school, I want you to believe in yourself. Do not allow the enemy to trick you that that's the end of your life. There is still hope for you. You need to just determine in your heart that I can rise above this mistake or this challenge. And there's quite a lot of things that you can do to motivate yourself, even there are not others around you to motivate you. You can try your best and do something that you love to do to rise above the negativity associated with teenage pregnancy. So I want to encourage you to do as I did. I did not allow these challenges to get the best of me, but I turned all of my disappointments into opportunities, and you too can do it.